We're not gonna talk about how my ring light stopped working literally 2 minutes ago. But the show must go on. We're gonna continue this video because I am prepared, and that's never really happened. So we're gonna make sure that we get this video done. Okay. Hi guys, what's up? It's your girl Leah. I'm back. It's been a minute since I've done a sit down talking video with you guys, but I figured why not? Because your girl's trying to be more consistent with posting content. And so here we are. Ignore the lighting. The lighting might be really bad because my ring light decided to break 2 minutes before filming. But it's okay. Next video the lighting will be better, God willing. Let's hope that your girl gets back into the grind of posting videos. In this video, I'm basically going to talk about books that I read in my past, like the start of my reading journey, and would I read them again? Yes, no, why, if not, why, would I, the effects, all the things. We're going all the way back to end of 2022. So if you're ready for this video, stay tuned. If you're not, I'm so sorry. This video might be a little long. And your girl, you know your girl be yapping, so I'm sorry in advance. I'm so sorry in advance. Before I start this video, I want to talk about something serious, just to put this out there. If you support Donald Trump, if you are a MAGA munchie, if you support everything that's happening in the state of the world right now, do not watch this video, because I promise you, this is not the platform for you. I am not the person for you. I don't think that human rights should be taken away, and everything that's going on in the world right now is just pure evil, and I don't support that, and I hope people that support me don't support that. So if you are a male munchie and you like MAGA and you like all the things and you think that what's going on right now is okay, look out, go ahead, I'll give you time. With that being said, I'm going to put a bunch of links below as to how you can support those who are affected by everything that's happening in the state of the world right now. And regardless if you think it affects you personally, it affects all of us. And so there's going to be a bunch of links on ways that you can support, links, donates, all the things in my description below. So make sure you stay tuned for that. So I want to start off talking about like my journey as a reader. I was a reader as a kid. My mom would literally take me to the library every weekend. I was one of the best readers in my school. No BS. I was a really good reader. I was one of those kids that can read a whole story in under like 20 minutes, 5, 10. It depends. I was always an excelled reader because my mom instilled that in me. My mom instilled learning, and even when you're not in school, you're gonna learn. And so I was always a reader. But as I got older, I kind of like grew out of it. I kind of grew out of loving it, and it was just felt like I had to read it to like for school. Once I got out of school, I was like, I don't have to do this anymore. And then I became friends with my friends that I have now, my best friends, and they are readers. And so they will always talk about their books, and I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting, let me get on that. And I did, and I started, and I became obsessed with it, and here we are. And I'm going to talk about the books that I read then and would I read them now. Some yes, some no, and I'm going to explain why. So let's get started. The first books that I vividly remember starting in my reading journey was Ali Hazelwood's Love Hypothesis and Love in the Brain. I vividly remember because I read Love Hypothesis in like 2 days. It was one of the first books that I was kind of introduced to like spice and all the things, and I was like, oh snap. And Adam Carlson, chef kiss. She, if you know the book, I'm not going to explain the premise of each book because that would be ages of a video. But basically, he's a professor, she's a student. She needed like a fake boyfriend type thing, so it was like the first like fake dating thing for me. And yeah, I enjoyed that book. I feel like I have to read it again now as the reader that I am and see if I still think highly of it. But those are that and Love in the Brain are the only two Ali Hazelwood books I've ever read of hers. And she's a well-loved author, so I'm really excited to get into her books more. I'm very intrigued about the books that she has. I feel like I've heard nothing but positive thoughts and opinions about Ali Hazelwood, so I'm like, I'm curious. Love in the Brain was like a rivals to Lovers, but he never was like hated her. She hated him, but that's because she thought they were in competition, I think. I remember not liking that one as much as I liked Love Hypothesis, but I still enjoyed it. I don't have the physical copies of those, but I'm going to put them right here so you know what books I'm talking about when I talk about them. If I don't have the physical copies, or if I simply don't feel like pulling it out of my little library, then I'm just going to put the physical copies because your girl is lazy. Another book I read in the beginning of my reading journey was Archer's Voice. This was the first book I feel like in that journey that I was emotional because this book put me through it. Archer he's mute because of trauma, I think. And he kind of connects with this girl who moves to a small town. And it's basically their relationship. And he helps her and they help each other. And it's a really beautiful love story. And it put me through it. And there's like some romance suspense, I think. If I remember. These books I haven't read in like 4 years. But I remember this book being really good. I really enjoyed it. And I simply cannot hear it in my veins ever again. Normally because of this book and Pretty Little Liars. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. But I do remember liking this book. Would I read it again? I think I would. I genuinely think I would. Next, we have Things We Never Got Over and the Knock 'Em Out series by Lucy Score. This book was one of my favorite books that I've ever read in that year. Kind of like stuck with me. I still think about Knox and Naomi and this just the town. This book was beautifully written. And I will say personally, I read this book and I don't think I will read another Lucy Score book because this feels like a whole nother thing. I'm sure she's a great author, but personally, this is something I'm like, this is a whole nother like I felt big things about this book. This series, this is my favorite of the series. I also like the third book. The second book is not my favorite, but the epilogue in the second book is their wedding, and it literally, like, if you know, you know, because the epilogue and Things We Left Behind or Things We Have From the Light is unreal. My heart caves in the best way because it's just so beautifully written. But this book was so good. I would read it again. I don't think I would read the rest of the series, but I don't think I would get the same feel. You know, when you read a book and you get a feeling that you will never get again. This is how I feel about this book. On all truth, I love this book so much. Next book for me is All Roads Lead Here by Mariana Zapata. This book is thick. This is the original copy, thanks to Morgan. My best friend Morgan recommended this book to me. I read this book in under a day. I literally remember going to my heart appointment and literally my blood pressure spiked reading this book because just Tobias Rhodes. The man that is Tobias Rhodes. This book is single dad. She ends up staying at his son rents out their house as the Airbnb. She stays. He's like, you don't supposed to be here. And she's like, well, I need a place to stay because we're in, I think, Colorado, like buttfuck Colorado. And they fall in love. And my favorite thing about this whole book, when it did it for me, she thinks he hates her. Like, she thinks he hates her so bad. And he calls her Angel. And she thinks that he's saying her name wrong because her name's Aurora. She's like, that's not my name. My name's Aurora. Whole time it's because he's in love with her. And it's so good. Truly a good book. I've read this book by Mariana. And wait for it. Yes. Slow Burn. I don't think that Mariana is an author for me. But I don't mind her slow burns. Like, she's the queen of slow burn, but I don't mind it because it's written really well and you don't need the spice. Like, you don't need the kisses. The romance just does it, you know? Next is a series. Is a series that I read in the start of my reading journey. And it's a well-loved series, and that is the Twisted series by Anna Wong. I read this series because my two best friends read the series and they were like, you have to read it. And this book, I feel like this series is the first series that introduced me to smut in a way that I have never read before in previous books. Because the smut in this one alone, that pool scene, I was gagged. I was like, oh, wow. My leapfrog and VTech ears and eyes. But that to say, My favorites are these two, Twisted Hate and Twisted Lies. I don't see myself ever reading Twisted Love again. I don't know if I would have the same rating as I did now as a reader than I did before. Twisted Games, I feel like a lot of people didn't like as much, but that's because we all have toxic brains. You can't convince me because he was the least toxic of all of them. I still think about Josh Chen and what he said. If you know, you know. If you have not read the series yet, get on it. This series is like every reader's beginner's course. So get on it. Would I read again? Not this one. Maybe this one. Yes and yes. There we are. There we are. And I don't have anything to say about Alex. Not nice things. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming to my TED Talk. Another series that I read that I don't have the physical copies for is The Bellinger Sisters by Tessa Bailey. That's It Happened One Summer and Hook, Line, and Sinker. Personally, I don't think I would ever read those books again. I don't think Tessa Bailey's writing is my style that I enjoy. I do remember liking Hook, Line, and Sinker more, but It Happened One Summer had more spice, and Brendan was hot. Yeah, and I think they're having a movie adaptation for that one, and I think they have Tyler Hoechlin to play Brendan. And if so, maybe you could convince me, because that gorgeous, beautiful man. But other than that, I don't think I would ever read that series again. I read one more Tessa Bailey book, Killer Vacation. It was okay. Don't see myself reading her writing again. Not for me, and that's okay. That's okay. So yeah, that one. I also read Dreamland Billionaires by Lauren Asher. This is one of my favorite series that I read that year. This is like end of 22, early 23-ish. That's 23 is like when I stepped in fully. This series is really good. It's pretty much like the brothers, they're three brothers, and they're like billionaires, but it's like the Disney World of their world. Does that make sense? So the first one is Mistaken Identity or Secret Identity or something like that, and they're like pen pals, and he is like one of the owners of the place. I don't remember vividly. I just know her name's Zara and his name is Rowan. Back. Second one was my favorite for a minute. It's Declan and Iris. It's Marriage and Convenience. She's his assistant. They're in a racial relationship, and I think that's why I love so much, because I love Iris so much. Declan was a little bit of an asshole. No tea, no shade. Final Offer was Cal. I love Cal so much. Didn't personally love the FMC in the book. I think her name is Alana. Yes. Didn't personally like her so much, but she's like a single guardian. Single mom. She's single mom, single guardian. I think she's like her niece or something. Cal. I think Cal is my favorite of the brothers. He was so underrated. Like, he was, the way they treated Cal was not fair. I stand by that. Would I read the series again? Probably not. That's it. That's all I have to say. I don't think I would. I do like Lauren's writing. I just don't think I would read that series again. I don't think I would feel the same way that I read when I first read it. I was very excited to read it when I first started it. I don't think I would do that again. Yeah. So now we're gonna, one more book. I have one more book. Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. That book is so good. When I read it, I was like, oh my God, like, this pulls on your heartstrings. It's like they were best friends, and then something happened, and they never spoke again, and then they kind of reconnected, and it was beautiful written at the time. But I don't think I would read another Christina Lauren book for my own opinions. But that book was good, and that's all I have to say about that. Okay, so next we're getting into like 2023. Sorry. Next we're getting into 2023, which was more like my reading year as a new reader. So I read a lot more. So I have a little more to talk about. Starting off with the Windy City series. The first book I read of that series, obviously, was Mile High. And this is right before any of the other books came out. So this series, I love the series. I love Tom Forty. I love this series so freaking much. This is one of my comfort series. I read Mile High first. Mile High is plus size. He's a hockey player. She's a flight attendant. And their romance is everything. Stevie is everything. The second one is best friend's brother, Ryan Shay. He is a basketball player. Indy is Stevie's best friend who is going through a really tough relationship breakup. So she is living with Ryan, roommates, and they were roommates. The third one is Caught Up. That is single dad, Kai Rhodes. Kai Rhodes. And Miller, and she is his nanny. He's trying to find a nanny because he's like, he wants to play his game, but he also wants to be a dad. So Miller is his nanny. Play Along is Isaiah and Kennedy K. Rats. It's Marriage of Convenience, Accidental Marriage, all things Marriage of Vegas. You know how that goes. These all are just perfection. And then Rewind It Back is Childhood Friends to Lovers, Childhood Friends to Enemies to Lovers, Rio, DeLuca, and Hallie. Rio is a love character, has been a love character since we met him in Mile High because he's on the team with Xander's, and he's just perfect. And the series is perfect. And Mile High was the first one I was introduced to, and I've been obsessed ever since. And I'm so excited. I'm so sad the series is over because the series has been a comfort series for a really long time. But I'm so excited but I'm very excited to see where Liz is going in her writing journey. And I'm so excited for it in her own league that comes out in March. And that's Monty. And we love Monty. We love Monty so bad. Another author that I was introduced to because of my best friend Morgan, Tara DeWitt. Her book, Rootbound, was the first book I read. I love that book so much. And it kind of give you a sight to see how Tara's writing is. Tara's writing is so beautiful. She writes romance in a way. She just gives, the way she writes A Small Town, it just gives you a hug in the heart, if that makes sense. Like, her writing is like a hug in the heart. And so Rootbound, let me tell you, the gag at the end had me, I literally finished, I was like, gagged. And so that kind of got me into her writing. One of my favorite books by her is Left for Forever. I love that book so much. And Funny Feelings. I love Funny Feelings. I read that in like one setting. And I had no regrets. It was just everything. And her books are funny. You can tell that woman is hilarious. I got the chance to meet her. She was so freaking sweet. And I just loved Rootbound. And so it got me into her writing. And I'm a fan. Tara DeWitt. I'm a fan. Gross. Is Punk 57 by Penelope Douglas. That is the one and only Penelope Douglas book that I've read. I don't think that her writing is for me. I'm not into the dark elements as much, and I feel like her books are very dark, and it's just personally not my style. Punk 57 is a bully romance. I did not like it. Didn't like it one bit. Next is Spanish Love Deception and the American Roommate Experience by Elena Armez. I can't tell y'all anything about that book. I just remember not liking it. And the only thing I remember vividly about the first one is that I liked the guy more than the girl. Because the girl and the guy were supposed to do like fake date. And it was for her benefit. But she was the one milking it and making it seem like it wasn't a thing. And I'm like, girl, you're supposed to be putting your acting shoes on. What's happening? And she just wasn't doing it for me. And I was like, girl. And I don't even remember what the second one's about. So yeah, I think it was one of those books I'm like, I was like, you should read it. And I read it and I was like, wouldn't read again. Why not read again? The next series that I'm going to talk about is a series that unfortunately was a big part of my reading journey. I no longer have physical copies. I no longer am supporting this author, and that is Elsie Silver. Personally, just not my thing. She recently said some things that were really offensive and just derogative and not okay, and it don't float with me. I don't like that. If you don't know, she, in her book, a future book that's coming out, there were readers who said that she used this hyperpigmentation and described it as dirty. And personally, what would you think I am? So therefore I decided not to support anymore. And so Chestnut Springs was a big part of my reading journey, but that is all I have to say about that. And yeah, if you didn't like that, but that's how I feel. Next I did get to read The Edens by Devney Perry. The Edens was the first series that I got to read and be introduced by Devney Perry that sparked a love for my love for her books for me. She gives romance suspense in a way that I can't imagine. It literally has you gagged, stressed, all the things, and then she writes love. She writes romance really well. And so The Edens is 6 books, give or take. I think 6 books. Romance suspense to a T. And if you like her books, then you would like Catherine Cowles, who I will talk about in the future. But their books kind of give the same thing. Romance suspense, heavy on suspense, heavy. You will be gagged every time. You will not expect the bad guy. I just want to let you know, you will not expect. It don't matter how many Criminal Minds, LSU, LVU, whatever the show is you watch, you will not suspect the bad guy. And that's all I have to say about that. Next book I read is one of my favorite authors, and that is Miss Kayla Gross. My first book by her I read was called Rein Me In. It is a plus size. She was a barrel racer. She was like a rider, but she stopped doing it once she lost her brother tragically. And so she came back to her small town, and Gavin challenges her in front of the town. And he's smitten by her and, all the things. Kayla. One thing I love about Kayla's writing is she gives plus size girls the love story that we deserved. Her books are everything. If you have not read any of her books, you need to now. Rein Me In was everything. Wrote Me In was good. Like You Like That. Whirlwind. All the things. X and O's. Her books are amazing. If you want plus size love and you want a little love for the girls, because we don't get the love stories that we deserve all the time. And I feel like Kayla and S.J. Tilly give us good stories about them. And I will talk about S.J. Tilly in a second. But they give us the love stories that we deserve. And this is one of them. And I love this book. And I would read again. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Runaway Ranch series by Miss Ava Hunter. This series right here. I remember seeing the first book, Tame the Heart, on my Instagram. And this was before it came out. And when I finally read it, this was a book, and still is one of my favorite books I've ever read. But this was a book that I literally wanted to get everybody to read it. And I got my friend to read it, and she understood exactly what I was talking about when I said this book is everything. This whole series is everything. It's the Runaway Ranch series. It focuses on Charlie Montgomery and his 3 brothers. They all moved to Montana to be with him after a tragedy in his life that kind of made him spiral, rightfully so. And so it's just them, and it's a little dark. There's some suspense, and he falls in love with Ruby, Precious Ruby, and she has a heart condition, so she kind of has a bucket list, and he kind of helps with that. And then in the moment they fall in love, and I love them so bad. And he's so obsessed with his wife. Oh, so obsessed. And then the other books are, you want pathetic men who yearn, who are obsessed, who's grumpy, who's grungy, who's everything. This is who would literally kill a man for their women and their family and their this is the series for you. This is the series for you. Promise you, I would read to this day. Will I be emotionally damaged? Yes. Will it be worth it? Yes. Another series that I don't have the physical copies of, but it is this author right here, Miss Catherine Cowles. I did speak about her earlier. And said if you like Devney Perry, then you would like Catherine Cowles, because Miss Catherine Cowles will also deliver with the good romance suspense. Okay, I never thought I was a romance suspense girly because I hate being terrified. I don't like crime. I don't like just knowing the bad guy, who the bad guy is, and being gagged and just surprise, boo, it's me. That's so scary to me. And so I was terrified to read Catherine Cowles. Y'all, the way she writes it, she gives you love stories, she gives you smut, and she gives you suspense. And it's sex, smut, suspense, love. That's all. And it's everything. And all her characters are so lovable. Her family, the way she writes family goes above and beyond. I love it so so freaking much. And this series right here is her Sparrow Falls series. I'm also a big fan of this series. The Lost and Found series is a series that introduced me to her writing, and I'm obsessed with her. I'm so obsessed with her, and I can't see what the future is to come with her. Would I read these series again? Yes. And I know this time, because the first book in this series, Whispers of You, I, to this day, apologize to the man who I thought was the guy who did all the crime. I am so sorry to this day. I'm not going to say, because if you decide to listen to this video and you read it, I'm not going to spoil who it is, but to this day, I still apologize to that man, because he was innocent. Innocent. And I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Another book that I loved so freaking much, another plus-size romance, was Enemies Necessary by Lila Herron. I'm so excited to see her future books, because this book was so freaking good. She was a nurse, plus-size nurse, and she is hired to work for this big bad macho boss, and he's obsessed with her. This man literally changes the seats in his car because she doesn't like the way it feels on her thighs. He said, don't worry. And changed it the next day. If he wanted to, he would. And this man did. Callum and Lexi. I vividly remember that. Would I read again? Yes, ma'am. Some of my favorite reads that I read in 2023. And now we're going to dive into some of my favorite reads in 2024. Yeah! So next, we're diving into 2024. I would say a lot of these books that I read in 2024 are telling us who I love as a reader now, because I am obsessed with most of the people that I'm talking about in this video and in this segment right now, starting with Lila Sage. So the first book I've read by her is Done and Dusted. It is a small town cowboy romance series. I have these three because I've only read these three. I haven't read the fourth one out yet. But I love the series so freaking much. I would read again. And my personal favorite is Lost and Lasso, because I love a good single dad, enemies to lovers. And I think they're all written well. They focus on mental health really well. They include tough subjects, and I think that they're written beautifully well. And yeah. I read Done and Dusted beginning of 2024, and then all the ones just fell after that. The Lost and Lasso, I think, came out, I think, 2024 too. But yes, loved every second of these. Love every page. Haven't read the last one yet, but when I plan to, I'm sure I'm gonna enjoy it, because it's Lila and her writing is really beautiful. Next is Kat Singleton. The first series I was introduced to her is I forgot the name of the series, but it's the Black Ties, White Lies, Pretty Rings, and then Bright Light Summer Nights. One thing about Kat Singleton she's going to deliver is a billionaire rich guy, and she does it so freaking well. I love her writing, and I love the way these books make me feel reading. My favorite of this series is probably between Pretty Rings and Bright Lights. I can't choose, because I love Archer more, but I also love Preston Road. So I don't know. But if you want a man obsessed, this man literally bought a company just so that he can talk to her, because she was not responding to his emails. The second one is Marriage of Convenience, because her father, and like it's like a business arrangement, but he's like obsessed with her from the jump. And then this one is Fake Date. He's a football player. She doesn't know what she wants to do in real life, but from the moment they meet, they click, and it's just everything, and it's beautiful. And I love this series so freaking much. And these covers are personally my favorite. These covers are everything, and this book is everything, and the series is everything. And I love Kat. This is my other Kat books over here, Bad for Business, and In Good Company, and the Sutton Mountain series. All good things. I love Kat. We're a Kat Singleton fan here. Next is one of my favorite authors ever, Miss Esther Tilley. Her books, put it right up there. She even sent me all her books. She sent me literally all her books. And here's one of my favorite right here about my man. Ethan Grant, my man. my personal favorite is Nero. And I make sure I make sure that's a known fact about me, that I love Nero so bad. His re-releasing date coming out on my birthday this year, it was for me. And she didn't even do it on purpose. It was for me though. I don't even think she knew that. It was for me. Ashley Tilly, like Kayla, just gives you plus size romance in a way that just makes you, it's obsessive. And Essie has given us all small town. She's given us lumberjack. She's given us billionaire. She's given us mafia. She's given us hockey. She's given us everything. And I'm obsessed with that woman. Would I read her books again? Yes. Yes. Would I read Lila and Cat? Yes. This year and next year, like this year and 2025 are the two books years that I'm like, I need it. I'm obsessed with most of all the authors that I read because I love them so bad. And SJ is one of them, and I just love SJ, all she stands for. She's perfect. I love her so bad. And so, yeah. And that's one of her books right there. Love that man really bad. Okay. Let's get to it. Let's get to Miss Bailey Hannah, my next queen. Love you. Let's get to it. Let me tell you something now. Miss Bailey Hannah. The way this woman gives us Cowboy, when she's done with the series, I don't know what to do. She's the last book of the series comes out in July, and I'm just not excited for my heart to be caved in. Truly. I love this woman, and I love these books so much. My friend Blair recommended this book, Alive and Wells, to me. I always seen the cover, and I was like, oh, that's such a pretty book, but I never, like, delve into it. And then I did, and I'm obsessed with every single book that she's written since. This man is my personal favorite. His name is Austin Wells. My not so cowboy. My man. Okay. Him and Bo Campbell, you have not met him yet. He's my favorite. I claim him. That book is for me. Nobody else. It's his brother, Colt's brother. We meet him in other books because he goes by Sundial, but that's my man. And he's not a rancher. He's a rock star boy. And that's okay. But I love this whole series so much. Talk about family. Talk about friendship. Talk about love. These men have heart, okay? And they're not just cowboys. They're ranchers. That's a big difference. This ain't just a cowboy romance where they just lasso and all the things. No. They work. These men work. And they do a lot of things. Okay? Talk about fighting. Yes. And I just love Bailey. I got to meet Bailey in last year. These books are just everything. I love her. I love her so much. And one of these, Blair did her big one, recommending me this book. And I just love her. And I'm so excited that, like, she's published and, like, the world gets to read her books because they're just written so well and she's so funny and you can see that in her books and all the things. I just love her so much. And would I read again? Yes. Are we serious? The last series I'm going to talk about that I found this 2024 year is Miss Ronnie Matthews in the Sutton Bay series. My first book was those two words. If you want heartache, okay? If you want heartache in every single book, this is the place for you. Heartache and love, true heartache. It's the same for me. This book, I got the arc to, and I remember I was reading it around the end of 24, because then the other ones come in 25, and it's childhood friends to lovers. She comes back home, she hasn't been back home in a minute, and they've always been, like, childhood besties, childhood lovers, and she comes back, and they have to run the business together, their parents' business together. Pat and Joanna's book. Like, this whole series, my personal favorite is indeed Just One Moment. Graham and Quinn. I love this book so freaking much. It's fake date. He is obsessed with her. And she's like the quirky loud. And he's the quiet guy. Quiet accountant. And the mouth on his hand. Y'all. Child. Y'all. This here right here. And then you got a lumberjack daddy right here. And you gotta cook right here. Mm-hmm. This series is everything to me. I love Ronnie so much. I'm so excited for her new series. Would I read the series again? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Another author that I love and appreciate so freaking much is Miss Hannah Cowan. Her books are at the top of my shelf. I did not get to pull it down. That would not be ideal. But I was recommended her books on my For You page because I was looking for a plus size romance. And her first book of the series, the Greatest Love series, is plus size. I fell in love with her writing. I fell in love with her books so freaking much. And I've loved all her books. And she's up there. But yes, I will read her books again. I love Hannah. She's so freaking sweet, so kind. Her Cherry Peak series just wrapped. That series hold near and dear. Catching Sparks. You want a plus size girl and a billionaire who's obsessed with her. Literally gives her his card every single time. And the things that I read in that book. If you know, you know. That's all I'm gonna say. Because this is a good channel. Okay. But you know. And so I love Hannah's books. And I can't wait to see what the future holds for her and her writing as well. Talk about 2025 and the books that I read and would I read them again or not. And most of these, spoiler alert, I would. So I want to start off with what I read in the beginning of the year. My friend Morgan recommended Sunshine by Michaela Jean Taylor to me and followed up by Peaches. The third one just came out. It's called Sugar. But these two books opened something in my brain. Like, Sunshine is, first of all, it's a small town. He was her ex-boyfriend's best friend, but it was like a trio with them, but he's always been in love with her, and it's always been him. And she's kind of seeing that now that she's an adult. But she's like, it was always you. And I love that. I love that so much in books. And this one, she's the good girl. He's the bad boy. And he teaches her spicy lessons. And he's obsessed with her. And, them two together. These books are so good. I will read them again. Michaela, you have a fan out of me. Left Her Forever. I talked about that book by Tara DeWitt. I loved this book. I'm grabbing it. This book, when you read Savor It and you're introduced to Sage and Fisher, Sage is his little sister, and you get into this book in the end of this. Now my books fall over. Anyway, you get to the end of this book and they're at a meeting and this woman's mentioned and someone goes, "She's still a bird." From then, I knew this book was going to be everything, and it did not disappoint. Like many books, I read this book in one sitting. I was on a train going through it. Ren and Ellis were a married couple, but they're now divorced, separated. They have a child. And it's basically their story about them falling in love again. And it's just, God, it's perfect. Ren is... And Ellis is obsessed with her, and just they love each other so much, and the love and the heartache and all the things that you feel is what I felt in this book, and I loved them so bad. So freaking bad. Would I read again? Yes. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Yes. 100%. 100%. Next book, I'm grabbing it, so I'm really close to the camera. The DC Star series by Miss Chelsea Carroll. My best friend Danny recommended this book to me and my friends. Safe to say I'm obsessed with this entire series. There are way more in this series than just this one. This is just a thick book. And I was like, I have the other ones on my shelf. I only need one more. There are 7 in the series total. Right now we just have 5. Maverick and Emmy. This book was the start of an obsession for me. You have, he's the captain. She's new to the team. She's a girl. That's not really normal in NHL. And it's just them. He's a playboy. She's like, oh, you're annoying. They originally dislike each other, but you always know there's tension. Deep down, there's tension. The way that this man is obsessed over her, even in other books that they're in. Maverick Miller. Oh my god. This book awakened a lot in me. I am obsessed with Chelsea because of the series. Danny, you did your big one, girl, because this book and this series is everything to me. Everything to me. And I will recommend all 7 books. I'm not playing. I recommend all 7 books. You have some accidental marriage. You have some marriage convenience in there. You have some single mom in there. You have he's the coach. She's the teammate's older sister in there. You have Grumpy Sunshine. You have women empowerment. All the women have powerful positions. They're all badasses. The series is so freaking good. So good. No notes. Would I read again? Yes. Yes. No notes. Like I said, no notes. No notes. Another series that I've learned to follow, I became obsessed with this 2025 year, is the Player for Keeps series by Becca Mack. There are more in the series, but these are the ones that I felt like pulling from my shelf. This is the first 3. Consider Me is the first one. Now, I will say Consider Me I've read it before. And, I started it, never finished it because I just couldn't. Something about it. And I think in that moment, it just wasn't for me. I gave it another shot. And oh my god, you guys. I love the series so much. This is another comfort series for me. Same thing with DC Stars. Same thing with Wells Ranch. Same thing with Windy City. Just characters that just mean so much to me, and they just love one another, and the found family aspect is so heavy in these series, and this is one of them. And just hockey men, obsessed with their women, love hard, and it's just so beautifully written. I just love it so bad. Carter Beckett is literally one of the funniest characters I've ever read in my life. And then you have freaking Garrett and Jenny, and then you have Adam and Rosie, and Lennon and Jackson, and then Emmett and Kara, and just, they all mean so much to me, and they all love each other so much, and that series was everything. And Becca, you did your big one, and I'm so excited to see what the future holds for her as an author too. Will I read again? Yes. Will I probably cry? Yes. But it's worth it. It's worth it. The next 2 books that I'm going to talk about are recommendations from my friend Blair. Hi, Blair, if you're watching this. Cowboy Casual by Holly Renee. First of all, this cover is one of the best covers I've ever seen in a book, period. And the writing in it equals just as much. Single dad. They were lovers, and then they parted ways, and she came back, and he's just as obsessed as he was from before. He calls her Strawberry. The color schemes on this, and just, I read this book in one setting too. I feel like I read this book in like a day or 2, but this book pulled me out of a slump that I was in. It was just perfect. It was just, it was so good. Colt Calloway, the man that you are. You made it too hard. Okay. Another series that I'm literally reading right now, the final book of the series. It's up here on my shelf, but I pulled the first one, When in Rome, from the Rome, Kentucky series by Sarah Adams. This book I read end of 2025, around the end of it, November-ish. Blair's been trying to get me to read the series for forever because her favorite is Practice Makes Perfect, which is book 2 of the series. It's When in Rome, Practice Makes Perfect, Beg, Borrow, Steal, and In Your Dreams. And I'm currently reading In Your Dreams right now, and y'all, I'm obsessed, and I'm only on like page 20 or something. Talk about it yearning. One thing Sarah Adams does is give a man obsessed, man pathetic, man yearn. I love it all. it's a thing. It's a thing for me, and I love it. When in Rome is she's a pop star, and she lands on this grumpy guy who owns a pie shop's yard in the middle of Kentucky, and yeah, it's just their friendship, and it's beautiful, and they're everything. And the second one is she's like the good girl of the town. He's like this sexy bodyguard who's an experienced life, and they're obsessed with each other. And he teaches her like how to like, you know, live life on the edge a little bit, fall in love, obviously. And then the third one is their rivals, but he's obsessed and she's obsessed, and it's just beautiful. And then the fourth one, he's so obsessed with her, and he literally creates a restaurant so that she can work there. If he wanted to, he would. If he wanted to, he would. If he wanted to, he would. He would. And I'm obsessed with them. And I'm so glad I finally got to read it, because Blair's been recommending the series for me for so long. And I'm so glad I finally read them. So glad I finally read them. Another author that I was introduced to last year in 2025 was Kennedy Ryan. She's a Black author, and I've heard so many things, and I have her books. I have her books right here on my shelf. But I stepped into All the King's Men duology. The way I read those two books in like a span of like 3 days, because I was on the edge of my seat, obsessed, scared. The way the first one ends, it's a duology, so it's the same couple, and it's like over a span of like 20 plus years, I think. And so they met when she was a teenager, he was an adult, and it's about them like reconnecting as they're both adults, and the level of trust, because she doesn't like his family because his dad did something that affected her native land, and so she has no respect for him. But she doesn't know that he's the son of the guy who did that, and so she doesn't know that for most of the book until he tells her finally. And it's just about like her like not talking to him, and then the next book is like over a span of like 10 years, him coming back into her life. And it's literally like, please forgive me. And it's just everything. It's just everything to me. And I was like, and I'm wrapping up another book or genre that I was kind of introduced to that I've never really read before as a reader, was Lavender Moon by Sarah Blue. It's Omegaverse. I've never read Omegaverse. I've heard good things about Omegaverse. I've heard some like things about Omegaverse, and I experienced it, and they're not wrong. And I'm intrigued, and I want to read more. Would I read again? Yes, I can't wait to read more of Sarah's books. As a local girl, she's a Maryland girl herself. Yeah. I was like, ooh, okay. I'm eating this up. And I did. I ate it up. I'm just going to talk about books that I'm currently reading goals for the next upcoming year. Oh, also would read those again. Would read every single series that I ever mentioned in 2025. Would read again. Sorry, that was the whole premise. There's not many books that I would not read again. There are a few, but there are a lot that I won't. Mostly in my early years, like 21, 22, 23, I wouldn't. But a lot of them I would, because I enjoyed them and I like them now, and it is who I am as a reader now. What I'm reading now, I just finished First Time Caller by B.K. Borson. B.K. Borson is also an author that I love, a local girly, her Baltimore girly herself. And I just read First Time Caller, and I read that in under a day or two. That book is I can't talk about that book because I want to reread it again. And I love B.K. Borson's writing. She wrote the Love Light Farm series, which is also another series that I loved. It my favorite is In the Weeds. In the Weeds, Becky Porter, the man of my life. Oh, love him so bad. Love BK's writing. She's genuinely funny. You could tell in her books. She writes romance to a way that just warms your body, your soul. And I just love her. And I just love her writing. And First Time Caller was just everything to me. And I'm so excited for Jackson's book in March. And now back to you. Yeah. I love BK Borson. And so, yeah. So that's what I just read. I'm now reading In Your Dreams by Sarah Adams, like I said. My reading goals this year, I'm just going to read. I'm just going to read what I can. I'm trying not to set a goal of how many books I want to read. I just want to read. And yeah. It's okay if you don't like the books that you read in the past. That doesn't mean you hate the author. It just means that you've grown, and that's okay. with that being said, that is the end of this video. Hope you like, comment, and subscribe, and hope you enjoyed this video. I'm running out of storage, so we're gonna wrap it up. But I really hope that this year is good to you guys. Everyone be safe. And like I said before in the beginning of this video, all the links to help support and defund ICE will be down in my description box below, in ways that you can donate, you can help, you can send resources, you can do all the things that you have to do. If you are supporting this outrage, don't watch my stuff, don't support me, because I don't support that. And if anything else, please be safe, and all the things. Don't support sucky people, don't support shitty people. Point blank period. And yeah, with that being said, hope you enjoyed this video. Bye. Links will be in the description. Bye. Hope to see you again.